We're going to begin again, inshallah ta'ala. Hopefully there won't be any interruptions. This is a re-recording of lesson 4 in Al-Qira'atu Rashida. Fi Suq, in the marketplace. Suq is looked up, seen, while qaf, as can be imagined. This is a conversation that took place between two friends, Omar and Khalid. Omar, he begins by asking a question using the word hal. Hal is similar to the question word at with a hamza. أَرَأَيْتَ الَّذِي يُكَذِّبُ بِالدِّينِ هَلْ أَتَاكَ حَدِيثُ مُوسَى. These are words that turn a sentence into a question. So if we look at this phrase here, Zurta suqa hadha al-baladi. Zurta is you visited. Zara yazuru. Zara yazuru. You visited. Here, Zurta, you visited. Suqa hadha al-balad. Suqa, visited what? The suq, maf'ulun bihi mansub. Hadha al-balad. Suqa hadha is mudaf mudaf ilayh. This is our mudaf ilayhi. Hadha. And it is majroor even though you do not see the sign of jar, because it is mabni, meaning it does not change ever. It never is hadi or hadu. It's always hadha. And balad is a replacement word or a substitution for balad. So I could, if I was pointing at a map, for instance, right, and I said, this is supposed to have been Missouri, but it's not a very good map of it. I don't know how to draw it. Just say this is a city. And I said, هل زرت سوق هذا البلد? And I pointed, هل زرت سوق هذا? And I pointed here. You would know what I'm talking about. But we can replace that هذا and say سوق البلد. We can replace it if we want. سوق البلد. Have you visited the suq of this balad? And so balad, even though هذا is majroor, and we don't see it because it's mabni, its replacement, its badal, is majroor, obviously, right? Because it is not mabni, it's mu'rab. So zurta suqa hadha al-balad, you visited the suq, the marketplace of this land, became a question by putting hal in front of it. It became a question putting hal in front of it. Have you visited the marketplace of this land? Ya Sadiqi, oh my friend. Yaqulu Khalid. Khalid, he says, La ya akhi. La, meaning no. Ya akhi. This akhi here is important for us to understand in the English language, because how he said it. He said ya akhi. He didn't say la akh like many of us might do. La akh. This word akh, if anyone has been around Arabs in America or overseas, then they will have seen, maybe they were criticized by someone saying akh. And this is a bad habit we have, because this akh is just brother, whereas akhi is my brother. So it's kind of like a slang term, like, yeah, bruh, what's up, bruh? Nah, bruh, like that. So akhi is much more endearing and loving. So when a person says, ya akhi, oh, my brother, it shows a relationship. When he says my brother, it shows some endearment and some love that exists there. But we don't use that very often in the West, and we say ya akh, and it's maybe grammatically acceptable, akh, just brother, but really it should be ya akhi. So Khalid, he says, La ya akhi, fa inni gharibun. Fa is here. Fa called fa as-sababiyya, meaning fa of a reason. So we have like so or therefore, right? But here it's just going to probably mean for. Like, no, I haven't because I am. Or for, it would probably be translated nicely. فَإِنِّي, verily I am. Or because I am, because it's a sababiyya, it's the reason. فَإِنِّي is inna plus ana. So inni, it becomes inni, right? It's usually is really plus ni, which is the equivalent of ana. And it could also be innani, but here it's just inni, and it's fine. Inna ni. It can be that as well. فإني غريب. غريب from غرب, meaning strange. Meaning strange. And we all know this word in the plural probably, which is غرباء. أتوبى للغرباء. بدأ الإسلام غريبا. Islam began as strange. وسيعود كما بدأ غريبا, and is going to return as it began, strange. فَتُوبَى لِلْغُرَبَاء. So glad tidings to the strangers. We know this. غُرَبَاء means strangers. The plural is غريب. غريب. For verily I am a stranger. Father says, جديد في هذا البلد. جديد, new. New. في هذا البلد. The plural of جديد for people is جدد. Right? So if you were to say new strangers, you could say غرباء جدد. Right? جديد في هذا البلد. Again, هذا is the اسم مجرور. But since it's mabni, you will never see the sign of jar on it. And balad is going to be a badal. So it's going to show its obvious sign of jar, just like we did in fi hadha al-balad or in suqa hadha al-balad. It's the same thing. I could say fil baladi or fi hadha al-balad or fi hadha if I knew what I was talking about without mentioning the balad. فإني غريب, for I am strange, or I am a stranger. جديد في هذا البلد, new in this land. لا أعرف الطريق. لا أعرف from عرف يعرف. عرف يعرف. Right? To know. Similar to علم يعلم. Similar, very similar. لا أعلم الطريق. لا أعرف الطريق. الطريق is the way. طريق is a word that you can say هذا or هذه in front of it. It's feminine and masculine. It's both of them are acceptable, right? The plural of طريق is طرق, or you could even say طرقات, right? So once Omar سأل خالد هل زرت سوق هذا البلد يا صديقي? Have you visited the market of this land, O my friend? قال خالد. Khalid, he said, لا يا أخي, no, O my brother, فإني غريب, for I am a stranger, جديد في هذا البلد, لا أعرف الطريق. I am new to this land, I don't know the way. فيقول عمر, so Omar says, تعال معي فإني ذاهب إلى السوق لأشتري بعد الحوائج ونرجع قبل المغرب إن شاء الله فإن السوق غير بعيدة. Omar says تعال. Ta'al comes from Ain, Lam, Wow. Ain, Lam, Waw. Which is ulu. We might know about Allah having or being ulu, being high. And it comes from that same word. Ulu, it means to raise high. To raise high. In this form here, ta'ala, form 6, right? Then it means ta'ala. It means to come on. Let's go. Right? Come here. Let's go. Like that, right? Come here. Come on. Let's go. And when we see the word ta'ala after Allah, Allahu ta'ala, is from the same root. It means Allah rose a highness, or Allah who is high, like this, right? Who has risen a highness. Allah who has risen a highness, meaning the most high, like this. And so it comes from the same root. So when he says ta'al, he says, come on. This word is found in the Quran, ta'al, but we find it in the form of ta'alo. When Allah tells the Muslims to tell the Christians to come to a word which is just between us and you, he uses the word ta'alo, meaning come on, let's go. Let's come to a word, right? Let's go. Let's come on. So ta'ala would be to a group of people. If you were talking to a female, if you want to start using this word and you're talking to your wife or to your daughter or to your sister, you say ta'ali. If you're talking to your son or your father or your brother, ta'al. So he says ta'al. Ma'i. Come on, ma'i, with me. Ma plus ana, right? But this is going to become the ya, right? So it's going to be ma'i. Ma'i. Ta'al ma'i. فَإِنِّي ذَاهِبٌ. ذاهب is the masdar, the verbal noun of ذهب يذهب. ذهب يذهب. It's the masdar, meaning I am going, right? Ana, I am going, without being a verb. This is a noun here, right? Ana ذاهب. إلى السوق, with the meaning of a verb, because a masdar is a verbal noun. It's a noun that it requires action, right? إني ذاهب إلى السوق. I'm going to the suq لأشتري. This should be a kasra here, but I guess they assume because it doesn't appear anywhere in the text, I think. لأشتري, in order to buy. أشتري. أشتري. One second. Yeah, one. أشتري is أشتري. اشترى يشتري. اشترى يشتري, meaning to buy. لأشتري بعد الحوائج. بعض, we want to distinguish this from بعد with a dal, بعض with a bod. بعد here means after, and this means some. بعض الدنانير, some dinars. بعض الإخوة, some brothers, right? بعض الحوائج, and we had this word previously, حوائج, the plural of حاجة, needs. حوائج, needs. ونرجع, from رجع يرجع, to return, but here نرجع with a noon, we will return. قبل المغرب, before Maghrib. Qabla is before, and al-Maghrib is the Salah. Qabla is a dharf, is a man. The word following it is mudaf ilay, majroor. Qabla al-maghrib. Insha'Allah. He says Insha'Allah, alhamdulillah. فَإِنَّ السُّوقَ, for verily the suq, and suq is mansub after inna. Inna wa akhawatuha, inna and its sisters, and there are 6 or 7 sisters, meaning 6 or 7 words that carry that same ruling. The noun that follows them is mansub. فَإِنَّ السُّوقَ غَيْرُ بَعِيدَ. فَإِنَّ السُّوقَ غَيْرُ بَعِيدَ. غَيْرُ is other. We say غَيْرُ الْمَغْضُوبِ عَلَيْهِمْ. غَيْرُ الْمَغْضُوبِ عَلَيْهِمْ. Right? Other than the path of those who Allah is angry with. وَلَا الضَّالِينَ. And the misguided, or the misguided. فَغَيْرُ بَعِيدَ. السُّوق, as we see, right, is feminine. We see that by the ta marbuta here. السوق غير بعيدة. بعيدة. Right? بعيدة. If it was not feminine, it would just say ba'id. But we see suq is feminine. We'll see more examples of that coming in the next line. So after Omar told him that, or Khalid told him that he was new, he was a stranger and new to this land, he doesn't know the way. Omar told him, Ta'al ma'i, come on with me. فَإِنِّي ذَاهِبٌ إِلَى السُّوقِ لِأَشْتَرِيَ بَعْدَ الْهَوَاجِ, because I'm going to the marketplace to buy some of my necessities that I need, some of the things I need. And he told him, نَرْجِعُ قَبْلَ الْمَغْرِبِ, نَرْجِعُ قَبْلَ الْمَغْرِبِ Inshallah, فَإِنَّ السُّوقَ غَيْرُ بَعِيدَ. And we're going to return before Maghrib, for the suq is not far. Khalid, he responds, MashaAllah, MashaAllah, which means technically whatever Allah wills. But it's a way of showing astonishment. He's astonished about what we'll see. هذا سوق كبيرة. This suq is big. So he's surprised here, right? This is a little bit of time in between this, because they actually go to the suq in between this phrase and this phrase. But mashallah is a phrase that says whatever Allah wills, or what Allah wills. And it's important for us to realize this phrase is a phrase of astonishment for when you see something. When you're astonished, you see something. We're reading Surah Al-Qaf on Jumu'ah, and we see that the men in the 2 gardens, the one said, if you would have just said mashallah when you entered your garden. So mashallah is something that you say when you're amazed with something of yourself. Right? And when you see something on someone else, you say Barakallahu feek, or Allahumma barak, or some dua, you ask Allah to put barakah in that for them. But mashallah is not something that you necessarily say for when you see something else, like to protect from the ayn or something. Rather, to protect from the ayn and do all of that, you ask Allah to put blessing in it for them. And mashallah is something that you say about something you're amazed with for yourself, because that will protect you, inshallah ta'ala, from becoming arrogant when you realize that all of this is from Allah Azza wa Jal. So he says, mashallah, hadihi suq. Again, we see suq being feminine because of hadihi. He says, this is suqun kabiratun. Again, ta marbuda showing suq is feminine. This is a huge suq. This is a huge marketplace. وَالدَّكَاكِينُ نَظِيفَةٌ وَجَمِيلَةٌ. Dakakin is the plural of dukkan. Dukkan. It becomes dakakin. Dukkan is a store. Right? Like one individual store inside the mall or the strip mall, that's a dukkan. Whereas a souk, a marketplace, is a gathering of many dakakin in one place. So he says, هذه سوق كبيرة. This is a huge souk, a huge marketplace. والدكاكين, and the stores, نظيفة, جميلة. نظيفة is clean. والجميلة, beautiful. Then he asks, وما هذا الدكان الجميل إلى اليمين يا عمر? He says, وما هذا, and what is this store? وما هذا, and what is this store? This beautiful store. دكان الجميل. What is this beautiful store? إلى اليمين, to the right. To the right, يا عمر. He could say إلى اليسار. If you want to say to the left, إلى اليسار. But here he says إلى اليمين. What is this beautiful store to the right? إلى اليمين يا عمر. Omar answers, هذا الدكان فاكهاني. هذا الدكان فاكهاني. Fakihani comes from fakaha. That's how you look it up. It has to do with fruits. Here, fakihani is the fruit seller, the one who sells the fruit. This is the occupation. This is the person who does it. Fakihani. This is the store of a fruit seller. هذا دكان فاكهاني. This is mudaf ilayh. This is why we see the kasras here. The example of this is a store of a fruit seller. This is a store of a fruit. This is not a store of the fruit seller or the fruit store. That's not the meaning here. The meaning is the store of a fruit seller. Now we're not used to this in mudaf ilayh probably. We're used to an example of, say, Kitabu Talib. I wrote that funny, but Kitabu Talib, the student's book, the book of the student. But if we had, and we do have this many times, when we're studying or when we're in school, we have two types of books. We have the teacher's book, which has lots of examples and exercises and stuff like that in it, the answers to the exercises plus extra notes for the teacher that they could do this at this time, and they give them examples for lesson planning. And then we have a student's book. So if we lost this one of these books, but we don't know who it is, but when we open the book we see that it doesn't have all the extra exercises, we know this is a student's book. But which student? We'd say Kitabu Talibin. And it wouldn't have the alif lam here as we're used to on the Talib. Kitabu Talib, this is a book of a student. Which student? We don't know, but it's the book of a student, and this happens. Here is the same case. This is a store of a fruit seller. We don't know who he is. He's not the only fruit seller, but he is a fruit seller. So this is a store of a fruit seller. ألا ترى إلى الفواكه وترى الناس يسومون الفاكهاني فيها. ألا ترى, here's a question word, and la is a negation. So tara from ra'a, yara, meaning to see. So here tara, you see. La tara, you don't see. Question in front of it, ala tara, don't you see? As a question, do you not see? Ila al-fawakihi, don't you see the fruits? Don't you see to the fruits? But we don't say that in English. We just say, don't you see the fruits? Wa tara an-nas, and you see the people. Yusawimuna. Yusawimuna, you look it up, seen, wow, mean, but then it becomes sawama. Yusawimu, right? Meaning to bargain, to haggle, to barter. Not barter, but bargain and haggle, to try to get the price down, right? Yusawimuna. Ala tara ila al-fawakih, don't you see the fruit? Wa tara an-nas, and you see the people. Yusawimuna al-fakihaniya fiha, Who are they bargaining? They're bargaining the fakihani, mansub, maf'ulun bi. They're bargaining and haggling with him. And here, tarahu, tara an-nas. We could see tara al-fawakiha, but here he says tara ila al-fawakiha, so it's majroor, right? He says, هذا الدكان فاكهاني. This is the store of a fruit seller. ألا ترى إلى الفواكه. Do you not see the fruits? وترى الناس. And you see the people. يسومون. You see the people bargaining. الفاكهاني, the fruit seller. فيها, in it. Right? In it. Dukan being feminine as well, as we see by the ha. يقول خالد. Khalid answers, أنا أريد أن أشتري شيئا أن أشتري شيئا من الفواكه الموز والجوافة والبرتقال فإني أريد أن أدعو بعض الإخوان إلى الفطور بكرة. Khalid says, أنا, I, أريد, from rawada, yuridu, rawada is how you would look it up in the hands where. But it comes from arada yuridu. Arada yuridu. We did this before. Arada uridu. Ana urid, and I want an ashtariya, that I buy shay'an, something, a thing. Here it doesn't have alif lam, meaning the thing, right? But it's a thing, and in English we would say something, because we still don't know what something is. It's still indefinite. Shay'an, you're going to buy something, maf'ulun bihi, mansub. Min al-fawakih, I'm going to buy some fruits, right? Al-moz, which is banana. Wal jawafa, al-jawafa. Many people, when they see this, they don't know. If they just were to pronounce the jim like a Egyptian, which turns the G to a J, then they would probably know. Al-gawafa, meaning guava, right? Al-gawafa, guava. Al-mawza, wal-jawafa, wal-burtuqal, and orange. I want to buy some bananas and guavas and oranges. فَإِنِّي, and this alif lam here is not the. I want to buy the banana. I want to buy the guava. I want to buy the orange. No. Alif lam has different functions. Some of them are to include everything. So when we say Alhamdulillahi Rabbil Alameen, this alhamdu, what is this alif lam? Does it mean indeed the praise belongs to Allah? That's correct, but that's not the real meaning. It means indeed all praise, because al here is istighraq, al alif lam of istighraq, meaning it includes everything of this type here, right? Whatever it's connected to, it includes every type. And then we have another alif lam, which is alif lam of jins, right? Jins meaning the genre of something. So we say وَمَا خَلَقْتَ الْجِنَّ الجن والإنس إلا ليعبدون, right? Al-jinn, I didn't create the jinn and the man, meaning the one, or you mean the whole type of jinn and the whole type of man, meaning jinn kind and mankind, right? Malikin nas, ilahin nas, the Lord, not the Lord of the people, meaning a specific people, but the Lord of people in general. So here this jins means here this alif lam is the alif lam of jins, meaning in general bananas and guavas and burtuqal. فَإِنِّي, for verily I, uridu, I want, an ad'uwa, and to invite, right? From da'a, yad'u, meaning to invite, to call, ba'd al-ikhwani, some of the brothers. You just had this ba'd up above, بعض الإخوان. الإخوان is the plural of أخ. Some of the brothers. إلى الفطور. فطور is breakfast. بكرة, in the morning. أنا أريد أن أشتري. I want to buy. I want that I buy, but we say in English I want to buy شيئا من الفواكه. But أن comes before or in between two verbs. We don't say أنا أريد أشتري. In Arabic we don't say that. In English we say I want to buy, no problem, but to appears. I want is a verb and buy is a verb. We put to in between. In Arabic they put an. I want to buy شيئا, something من الفواكه, from fruits, some fruits. الموز والجوافة والبرتقال, bananas and guavas and oranges. فإني أريد أن أدعو بعض الإخوان. For I want to call some of the brothers إلى الفطور بكرة, to breakfast tomorrow. Omar, he says, الجوافة غالية جدا في هذه الأيام والبرتقال حامد ولا بأس بالموز. Omar, he tells him, الجوافة guava غالية, غالية, right? From wool. You would look it up, wool, but you would say غالية, right? غالي is expensive, but we're talking about جوافة, it's feminine, so it's غالية. Guava is expensive. جدا, very. You put جدا after a noun, it means very. غالية جدا, very expensive. في هذه الأيام. أيام, the plural of يوم. We've had that before. والبرتقال, and the oranges, حامد. حامد means sour or bitter, like that, right? They're not sweet right now. They're not going to be good. Hamid, another word we might know is mur. Mur, right? When we have, we believe in the qadr, khayrihi wa sharrihi, the good of it and the bad of it. Hilwihi wa murrihi, the sweet of it and the sour of it, the bitter of it. Hamid, meaning they're not good. They're not in season. Hamidun, right? ولا بأس بالموز. ولا بأس is a phrase meaning and there's no problem. And there's no problem بالموز, with bananas. Khalid, he says, تفضل يا أخي نصوم الفاكهانية. تفضل means come on. It's similar to تعال. Similar to the meaning of تعال. تفضل. You could also tell someone تفضل if you want them to go first. You're both trying, the door isn't big enough for both of you at the same time. تفضل. So a woman, you say, تفضلي, like you go first. If a sister says to a woman, you go first. Otherwise a brother goes first because he doesn't want to be looking at the backside of a woman. And men, Allah says, created men and women. So Allah created men first. We put the men first as Allah did. Right? So تفضل, he says, تفضل, go ahead. Or come on. Ya akhi, oh my brother. نصوم, we're going to bargain. Al-Fakihani, we're going to haggle with the fruit seller. Omar, he says, Ahsan, it's better. Ahsan comes from Hasan, meaning good, right? But Ahsan, it's better. And nashtariya al-fawakiha, that we buy, it's better to buy, that we buy al-fawakiha, منسوب مفعول by what? الفواكه من سوق الخضر, from the souk, from the market of the khudar, which is the vegetable market. The vegetable market is where you'll find fruits and vegetables, but they call it here souk al-khudar. It might be al-khudrawat. We might be familiar with that. Khudrawat, right? The fruits and vegetables. Souk al-khudar. Bukra, it's better that we buy the fruit from the souk al-khudar, from the vegetable market, bukra, in the morning. فَإِنَ الْفَوَاكِهَ, for verily the fruits, وَالثِّمَارِ فِيهَا كَثِيرَةٌ وَرَخِيصٌ, for verily the fruits and the fruits. Both of these words mean fruits, so what's the difference? Anyway, let's finish the sentence and then we'll explain it. فَإِنَّ الْفَوَاكِهَ وَالثِّمَارَ, for verily the fruits and the fruits, فِيهَا, in it, are كَثِيرَةٌ, are many, وَرَخِيصَ, رَخِيصَ, the opposite of غَالِيَة, meaning cheap. They're cheap, they're inexpensive. Right? Inexpensive is better than the word cheap. Cheap might mean bad quality. The difference between al-fawakih and thimar is that there are certain things included in fawakih that are in thimar that are not in al-fawakih. So for instance, every fawakih is thimar, but not every thimar belongs under the fawakih column. So for instance, we have oranges, apples, bananas, guava, watermelon, right? Over here we have all of that too. Oranges, apples, bananas, guava, watermelon. But we also have olives, apples, right? I mean not apples, tomatoes. Things that you don't necessarily consider fawakih, but they are considered from the genre of fruits in the Arabic language. Allah includes olives as thimar in the Quran, right? But we don't consider olives to be from the fawakih. Like this. Also, in general, and there are exceptions to the rule, is that thimar is used for something that you store and use as value in this life, whereas fawakih is the fruits of the hereafter, and they are not something that you store. They're not something that if you store it, it'll go bad, right? Because the dunya, or the hereafter, is not a place for storing and for money. We don't use them as money, right? Like, because the dunya doesn't need any money, and it doesn't need to store anything. Everything's always going to be fresh and never going to be hamid, right? So therefore, thimar is more general than fawakih, although both of them are fruits. So he says, أحسن أن نشتري الفواكه من سوق الخضر. It's better that we buy the fruits from the vegetable market in the morning. فإن الفواكه والثمار فيها كثيرة ورخيص. For verily the fawakih, the fruits and the other types of fruits in it are many and inexpensive. Khalid, he says, هذا هو الرأي. هذا هو الرأي. رأي comes from the same thing as ra'a yara, but ra'a means opinion. Opinion. Because an opinion is how you see things, not necessarily how it is. So you can see the relation. I see that we go to the market now, and he sees that we go to the market in the morning. It's my opinion, it's his opinion. This is what I see is better, this is what he sees is better, from the same word ra'a yara, to see. Right? The people of Basra during the time of Abu Hanifa, they were known as Ahlul Rai. Ahlul Rai. Why? Because they were people of opinions. They didn't have a lot of hadith that had reached them. A lot of books didn't reach them. And so they were Ahlul Rai. And they were criticized for this. Ahlul Rai, people of opinions, versus the people of hadith. Right? So, هذا هو الرأي. الرأي means this is the opinion, but actually it means, yeah, this is the right way. It means this is the opinion. This, it is the opinion. But meaning, yeah, that's right. This is the way we should go. هذا هو الرأي. Yeah, this is the way we should go. Yeah, that's right. That's what we should do. وَمَا هَذِهِ دَكَاكِينُ يَا Omar. And what are these stores, O Omar? Omar, he says, هَذِهِ دَكَاكِينُ الْقُمَاشِ. These are the stores of the Qumash. Qumash means materials, fabrics. Where you would go to buy material to get clothes made. هذه دكاكين القماش. ألا ترى كيف بسطوا أنواعا من القماش. Do you not see, again we have the same phrase, ألا ترى, Do you not see kayfa, how, basatu, anwa'an. Basatu means that they are spread out. So you have all these things of material spread out, right? Basatu, anwa'. Anwa' is the plural of naw', meaning types or styles. Naw', right? So we have a cup. This is one naw' of a cup. You have another cup. This is another naw' of a cup, right? We have another naw' of a cup, right? These are all cups, but this thalathatu anwa' of a cup, right? Anwa' types or styles, right? So naw' is cups. Ala tara kayfa basatu anwa'an min al-qumash. Do you not see how there are types of materials spread out? Wa kayfa yalmasuha an-nas, and how the people are yalmasuha. Yalmas from lamasa, to touch. Lamasa, to touch. How they're touching them. Wa yusawwimuna fiha at-tujar, and they are bartering or bargaining and haggling in them with the tujar, the plural of tajir. Taj is a merchant, tujar, merchants. Don't you see them in there haggling with the tujar? Ta'al, come on. فَإِنِّي أُرِيدُ أَنْ أَشْتَرِيَ حِذَاء. Come on, for I want to buy, or I want that I buy حِذَاء. حِذَاء, you look it up, just like that, right? Means shoes, right? Means shoes. One second, I'm missing my paper here. You would look it up rather with a wow, not a hamza. That's why I was looking for my paper. You would look it up with a wow, and then you would find this. Shoes. I need to buy some shoes. Khalid, he says, تفضل فإني صاحبك. Meaning, go ahead. Come on, you lead the way, basically. تفضل. Come on, go ahead, you lead the way. Meaning, you go ahead first, as I said. Two people trying to go into the door. It only fits one at a time. تفضل, meaning you go ahead. تفضل, go ahead, lead the way to the shoe store. فإني صاحبك. For verily I am your friend. Sahib is the plural, is the singular of Sahaba. Or Ashab is another plural, meaning companions. You know this, right? Sahib, right? فإني صاحبك. For verily I am your friend. I'm your companion. Omar, he says, Min fadlik. He's talking to the person of the shoe store. He says, Min fadlik akhrij li hida'an mutabiqan. He says, Min fadlik, which is please. From your virtue, meaning because you are virtuous, please do this. Please means you are virtuous, so please share your virtue. Min fadlik akhrij li hida'an mutabiqan. Akhrij comes from akhraja yukhriju. Akhraja yukhriju. The root is kharaja. We know this. We mean to go out, to exit. Akhraj means to make something exit or come out. So here he's saying, pull out for me, get out for me, li, for me, hida'an mutabiqan. Shoes, mutabiqan. This word, if we knew the author, if he was still alive, Allah yarhamahu, then we would be able to ask him better what exactly he means. But here, or maybe if we went to a shoe seller and asked him, he would know. But mutabiqan, it could mean a number of things. It could mean suitable, right? It could mean suitable. It could mean comparable. It could mean agreeable. Then we have to figure out, what do we mean? Ta-ba-qa. That's how you would look it up. But what does he mean by it? Get me some suitable shoes. Meaning suitable for where I'm at. Or does it mean comparable, meaning comparable to the ones I have on? Or does it mean agreeable or comparable to my shoe size, to my foot? All of that could be the meaning, and Allah knows best. Maybe we'll go to a shoe store today and ask and then have that answer for the brothers and sisters next week. But give me some shoes which are agreeable, and maybe with the context of the story below we'll understand it a little bit better, and everyone might have their own understanding, inshallah. Sahib al-Dukan, the companion of the store, he says, هذا حذاء جميل ومتين. This shoe, this is a shoe, or a beautiful shoe, and a strong shoe. Jamil wa mateen, strong. Mateen is strong. This is a good, beautiful, strong shoe. Nice, handsome, strong shoe. Omar yaqul, Naam. He says, Naam, yes. ولكنه واسع قليل. Wasi'un, they're wide. Wasi', they're spacious, they're roomy. They have a little, they're loose. Qalilan, a little bit. Right? A little bit. They're a little loose. So now we can maybe understand mutabiqan, meaning comparable, agreeable to my foot, meaning my size. It could mean. It could mean hida and mutabiqan could mean shoe my size. Could be. I don't know. Or maybe my width, like this. But these are a little wide. Sahib al-Dukan, he says, the companion of the story, says, وَهَذَا الْآخَرُ مُطَابِقٌ تَمَامًا. And this is another. Akhar is another. Akhir is last. Akhir is last. Akhar is another. Mutabiqun tamamun. This is agreeable tamamin, meaning completely, perfectly. So this could make us understand mutabaqan to be like your size. Exactly. And Allah knows best. Mutabiqun tamaman. This is another. This is, and this other one. وهذا الآخر, and this other. Mutabiqun tamaman. It's agreeing or conforming or comparable tamaman, perfectly. So we think mutabiqan might mean the size, and Allah knows best. So Umar says, Bikam huwa. How much are they? Bikam means how much. Kam means how many. How many. Bikam, with how many. But we don't say that in English, with how many. We say with, or we just say how much. Like, with how many dollars can I buy them? With how many dollars can I buy them? But we don't say that. We just say how much. Bikam huwa, how much are they? How much is this shoes, this pair of shoes? Sahib al-Dukan, he says, the companion of the store, Bisitti rubiyat. With 6 rubies. 6 rubies. Rubiyat is feminine, so the number is masculine. We may be used to the word sitta, right? And that's what we say, واحد اثنين ثلاثة أربعة خمسة ستة. That's how we count. But when we're making a noun and an adjective, or like this, from 3 to 9, then the number and the item being counted, they have to differ with one another. So if the item is masculine, then the number will be feminine. And if the item is feminine, then the number will be masculine. So for instance, if we have walid, boy, right? That's masculine, right? We know that. So we have 6 boys. We say sittatu awlad. And if we have girls, bint, we know this is feminine. And we have 6 of those. We're going to say sittu banat. Because our number is going to be masculine while our item is feminine. And the same thing here, our number is going to be feminine while our item, which is in Arabic is called ma'dud. Ma'dud, meaning the thing which is counted, and the adad is the adad, the number, and the ma'dud. The adad is going to contradict the ma'dud from 3 to 9. So it says bisitti rubiyat, with six riyals. That's how much. Bisitti rubiyat, that's with 6 rubies. That's with how much you can buy it, right? Omar, he says, Ala tanzilu fil thaman. Ala tanzilu fil thaman. Won't you, ala, here's a question. Tanzilu, to come down. Nazila yanzilu. Nazala yanzilu. Nazala yanzilu, to come down, right? Rain comes down. Ala tanzilu fil thaman. Won't you come down fil thaman? And thaman is the price. The plural is athman, right? Or athmina. Both of these are plurals. Right? Won't you come down in the price? Right? Something which is expensive, or something valuable rather, and therefore expensive, would be thamin. Maybe you heard that word before. Thamin. Right? That's valuable. Something thamin is something valuable. Ala tanzilu fi thamin. Won't you come down in the price? Sahib Dukan, the companion of the store, he says, لن تجد يا سيدي أرخص من هذا في السوق. Len is a negation of the future. Tajid is from wajada yajidu. Wajada yajidu. To find. So you will not find, tajida, you will find. You will not find, due to the len, you will not find ya sayyidi, oh sir. Right? Arkhasa, from rakhis, meaning inexpensive. You will not find, here we'll say cheaper, meaning less price, not in quality, meaning in price. You will not find cheaper min hadha, than this. Whenever we have a superlative, ahsanu min, akbaru min, arkhasu min. This min does not mean from. I believe we explained this before. It means then, whenever you have the superlative. You will not find cheaper from. In English, we're going to say cheaper than. So we're always going to translate the superlative with min as then. Arkhasu min hadha. You will not find cheaper than this fi suq, in the whole marketplace. You will not find cheaper than this in the marketplace. Omar, he says, usaddiquka li'annaka muslimun wal muslimu la yakdhibu wa la yaghush. Omar, he says, usaddiquka. Usaddiquka, if we're familiar with the Hadith of Jabril, then the Hadith of Jabril is when a man came to the Prophet ﷺ and sat in front of him, put his hands on his thigh, his knees to his knees, his hands on his thighs, and he asked him about Islam. When he finished telling him what is Islam, he said, Sadaqt. You told the truth. So Amar, the one who narrated the hadith, he says, فَعَجِبْنَ لَهُ يَسْأَلُهُ وَيُصَدِّقُهُ. وَيُصَدِّقُهُ. Same verb here. يُصَدِّقُهُ. Here he says, أُصَدِّقُكَ. The difference is, who's doing it here? You is he, here is I, and yusaddiquhu, he believes or confirms him, and I believe or confirm you. Yusaddiq from Siddiq, Siddiq, meaning to confirm or to believe in something. أصدقك, I believe you. لأنك, because you. لأن is because. لأنك مسلم, because you are a Muslim. والمسلم لا يكذب, and a Muslim doesn't lie. يكذب, كذب يكذب, he doesn't lie. ولا يغش, and he doesn't cheat. From غش, يغش, غش, يغش, right? Meaning to cheat. You're probably familiar with the hadith, من غش فليس منا, or من غشنا فليس مني. Whoever cheats us is not from us, or whoever cheats us, or whoever cheats is not from me. Like this, then يغش is to cheat. Right? أصدقك لأنك مسلم والمسلم لا يكذب ولا يغش. I believe you because you're a Muslim, and a Muslim doesn't lie and he doesn't cheat. Or ولا could be nor. ولا يغش, nor does he cheat. Khalid, he says, وما هذا المكان الذي يأكل فيه الناس. So he gets his shoes and he moves on and he says, وما هذا المكان الذي يأكل فيه الناس. And what is this place? Makan is place. The plural, amakin. What is this place? Alladhi, which ya'kulu fihi an-nas. The people are eating in it. Ya'kulu fihi an-nas. An-nas, fa'il. Ya'kulu an-nas. The people are eating fihi in it. وَمَا هَذَا الْمَكَانُ الَّذِي يَأْكُلُ فِيهِ النَّاسِ. And what is this place that the people in it are eating? Omar, he says, the people are eating in it. Omar, he answers, هذا مطعم. This is a restaurant. مطعم, restaurant. And we'll find the plural here in a second. هذا مطعم يأكل فيه الناس. People eat in it. والمطاعم, مطاعم is the plural of مطعم. And the restaurants في البلد كثيرة. في البلد كثيرة. In the land. Here, I think they're using balad as the city. Why? We'll find out in a second, right? We can kind of tell because Khalid's never seen something like this before. And if he was from a big city, he would know. So he says, وَالْمَطَاعِمْ فِي الْبَلَدِ كَثِيرَةٌ. Khalid, he says, helping us explain why balad might be city. He says, مَا لِي لَمْ أَرَى مَطْعَمًا فِي الْقَرْيَةِ. مَا لِي, like what's wrong with me, right? But ma, right, with a verb after it, right, then this means why. Ma li with a verb after it, it means why. So ma li lam ara, this is a verb, it's a negation of it, just insert it, right? So why don't I see? لما ما لي لم أرى مطعما في القرية. Why don't I see a restaurant in the village? مطعم, أرى مطعما منسوب مفعول به. Why don't I see a مطعم in the village? القرية is village. The plural is قرى. Right? Qura. We should know this from the Jamia al-Qura because Mecca is known as al-Qura, the mother of the cities, the mother of cities, the mother of villages. So the Jamia al-Qura, the Jamia of the mother of the cities. Mecca is al-Qura, the plural of the singular of Qura is Qarya. So al-Qura or Qarya. Mali Lam ara, Mali, what's wrong with me? Basically, why? We know Mali is what's wrong with me because we have in Surah Al-Zalzala, Ayah 3, the people are going to say on the Day of Judgment, وَقَالَ الْإِنسَانُ مَا لَهَا, مَا لَهَا. When the earth is talking, right? When the earth is talking and spilling all the sins of the people and everything that we did on the face of the earth that was wrong, and it's telling on us, that we're going to say, Ma laha, what's wrong with the earth that it's telling on us like this? Ma laha, what's wrong with it? You could ask someone, Ma laka, or Ma laki. Like if you see something wrong in the face. Ma laki, it don't have to necessarily be something wrong, but more so if you see something, Ma laka, what's wrong? What's going on? What's up with you? Kind of like kayfa haluka, but more so if you see someone, something wrong with them. Although it could be used in a normal term. So mali, what's wrong with me? Lam ara mat'aman fil qarya. But like I said, when we use mali, mal with this lam and then a verb, it means why. Why this verb, right? So lam ara, let's address that for a second and we're almost done bi'idhnillah ta'ala. The verb is ara. I see. But we have lam, which makes the verb after it majzoom. So we drop the ya here due to the word lam. Just in brief explanation without going into it. Lam ara. But originally it's ara with an alif. Maksura. Lam ara. But because of the lam, we dropped the ya. Lam ara mat'aman fil qarya. Why don't I see a mat'am in the qarya? Omar, he says, لأن البلد, because the balad, and again this is why I think it means city, as we'll see in the explanation of Omar here. Because the land or the city, fihi ghuraba, in it are ghuraba, strangers, wa musafirun, and travelers. Laysa lahum buyut, lahum, they have, laysa lahum, they don't have buyut, the plural of bayt, house, right? Yuqimuna, aqama, yuqimu, aqama, yuqimu, meaning to establish, right? Or here it means to stay in. Yuqim, meaning they're established in a place, they stay in a place, right? Yuqimu fiha, that they stay in them. Wa ya'kuluna fiha, and they eat in them. They don't have these houses to stay in and eat in. فَيَأْكُلُونَ فِي الْمَطَاعِمِ, so they eat in restaurants, or in the restaurants. أَمَّا الْقَرْيَةُ, as for the village, فَالْغَرِيبُ فِيهَا قَلِيلٌ, then the stranger in it are few, they're little. You don't find very many strangers in a small town. فَلَا حَاجَةَ, so there's no need, فِي الْقَرْيَةِ, in the village, إلى المطعم, there's no need to have a restaurant. Haja and illa go together. Haja and illa. So if you say you need something, you might say ahtaju ila al-ma, I need water. In English, we just say I need water, and we don't have this in there. But in Arabic, there are some verbs that require something extra before the noun. Like here, ahtaju ila. In English, we have that as well. In Arabic, sometimes there are, but in English, in this particular one, we don't need it. But in Arabic, sometimes there are ones that don't require anything in between the noun and the verb. But in English, we do need it. So we just have to learn the Arabic speech in the way that the Arabs talk. So haja fil qarya ila al-mat'am. Fala haja fil qarya ila al-mat'am. So there's no need to have a restaurant in the village. Khalid, he says, وَأَيْنَ نَجِدُ الْوَرَقَ وَالْحِبْرَ وَالْقَلَمْ وَالْمِرْسَمْ وَالنَّشَافَ وَأَدَوَاتِ الْكِتَابَةِ. He says, وَأَيْنَ, and where, najid, from wajad yajidu, where do we find al-waraqa, paper, wal-hibr, ink, wal-qalam, pen, wal-mirsam, wal-nashafa, wa-adawat al-kitaba. Now, al-mirsam, it can be pencil. In the dialect of the Saudis, mirsam is pencil. Mirsam can also be paint brushes. Without the author here, we can't ask him exactly what he meant. Right? When nashafa can be eraser. Right? Nashafa can also be a dryer, like a clothes dryer. Right? Can also be a clothes dryer. But here, and so from nashafa, we can also have it mean, just like mirsam can be pencil or paint brushes, then nashafa eraser, or it could be an ink blotter. An ink blotter is where, if you use like a feather pen or something, you know, when you got the fancy feather pen with the tip on it, right? When you're writing calligraphy or something, you know, you get fancy, you might get a lot of ink here that you want off. So there's like a certain cloth or something that will dab, you can dab onto this ink right here, and it will remove the ink without messing up the paper and causing it to smear. So the nashafa could be this as well, right? فَأَيْنَ نَجِدُ الْوَرَقَ, paint, or paper, وَالْحِبْرَ, and ink, وَالْقَلَمْ, and a pen, وَالْمِرْسَمْ, could be pencil or paint brushes, وَالنَّشَافَ, could be eraser or ink blotter, could be either one. It's related to the adawat al-kitaba. It's all related to the adawat al-kitaba, and the adawat is from the plural of ada, meaning a tool. You would look it up, ayn, alaf, dal, wow, in the dictionary, but ada means a tool or instrument, right? So, or utensils even, right? The utensils of writing, al-kitaba, the tools of writing, instruments of writing. Where can we go find some writing instruments? Al-waraqa, wal-hibr, wal-qalam, wal-mirsam, wal-nashafa, right? Omar, he says, هذا الدكان وراق. Warraq is the person who makes paper or sells paper. Makes paper or sells paper. The paper maker, the paper seller. Warraq is the occupation. Like fakihani is the occupation. Warraq is the occupation. هذا الدكان وراق. And the same thing as we said, kitabu talibin. This is a store of a paper seller. Not the only one, but one of them, a paper seller. This is the store of a paper seller. Tajidu fihi jami'. You will find in it all, kullu jami', all hawa'ij al-madrasa, of your school needs. All your school needs you will find in it. Khalid, he says, ashkuruka. Ashkuruka, I thank you, ya Sadiqi al-Kareem, O my generous friend. Kareem, generous. Sadiqi al-Kareem, my generous friend. فَقَدْ أَفَدْتَنِي كَثِيرًا. Afadtani, you will look it up, fa, ya, dal. Right? We know this word, but we don't know it maybe in this context. Fa, ya, da. Come, form 4. Says afada yufidu. Let me see. Now let me write there. Yufidu. Afada yufidu. Meaning to benefit or to help or to be useful. So we know the word fa'ida, right? A benefit, right? Fawaid, benefits, right? Mustafid, the one who benefits, right? Hal istafadtu هل استفدت من الدرس? Did you benefit from the lesson? أفدتني, you helped me. You were very useful to me, very much. You helped me a lot. You were useful to me a lot. You benefited me a lot. وأرى أن نرجع, and I see, or I think, I think it could be, أن نرجع, that we return, الآن, إلى البيت, now, الآن is now, إلى البيت. I think that we should now go back to the house. وَنُصَلِّيَ الْمَغْرِبْ هُنَا, and pray Maghrib here. Meaning, Allah knows best, it should have said hunak, and pray there. Because huna is here, and hunak is there. And if they're in the market, and they want to pray at the house, then they have to go hunak, there. Not where they are, if you were to say huna. And Allah knows best. Omar says, Naam, وَمَا بَقِيَ لِي شُغْل. Baqiya meaning to remain. Baqiya yabqa, to remain, or to stay, or to have something left. So here he negates it. And there's nothing remaining, li, for me, shughl. Meaning there's no work, nothing left, nothing that I need to do, nothing that's going to occupy me, as we had this word in what happened when the boy reached 7 years old. He said he prayed anywhere. أدركته صلاة وهو في شغل. If the salat reached him and he was busy, like this, right? Salah, he prayed. وَمَا بَقِيَ لِي شُغْلٌ, and there is nothing left for me of busyness or something to occupy me. And this is the end of the story. I hope that it was beneficial and I didn't miss anything. سبحانك اللهم وبحمدك أشهد أن لا إله إلا أنت أستغفرك وأتوب إليك. السلام عليكم ورحمة الله.